Hello, I'm Sam from Jessup Says. The focus of my channel is to share and educate on how to buy less, buy better. It's not necessarily about buying less things, it's about buying something that fits its purpose perfectly and serves you for as long as possible. But what if you can't afford the quality thing in the first place? Buying less always seems like the obvious part of this equation. An example is that for winter, it's well and good saying, let's own one high quality wool coat from a brand like Private White VC, for example, rather than having a couple of different synthetic options from somewhere like Zara or Uniqlo. In principle, it's a fantastic and intelligent idea. But in reality, that theoretical coat, again from Private White, or even the non-theoretical one that I have in my closet, will keep you warmer and more well protected from the elements than anything I've seen from a lower cost and quality coat, whilst also being crafted by hand and made to last years and years of wear. So inarguably, a Private White coat does a better job than a coat that is a cheaper alternative. So it's a no-brainer, right? You should go ahead and buy a Private White VC coat and be done with it. Well, that is until you realize that they're likely to set you back just over $1,000, and that's not an easy pill for most of us to swallow. If you don't earn lots of money, or as is often the case, you struggle to save, it may be quite a challenge to afford that grail quality item like something from Private White VC. It's the buying better that becomes the real hurdle that most of us face when we're trying to upgrade or update our wardrobe. So what do we do? Well, from my experience, we wait for a sale, something that's 60% off, and then we go to one of those low quality stores and we splurge on a range of different items in the hope that something we buy will be appropriate and we'll get a lot of wear in the next 6 or 12 months until the item is worn out. It's not really the most effective way to buy things that you really want and really need. And ultimately, some of that stuff may just not be worn at all. How many shirts and things do we buy and just never end up wearing because we just don't really like it all that much? There's always a feeling of guilt or something that just comes up every time you think about not wearing that thing that you thought you might want to wear. And I think that's ultimately the point, the soul of this channel. I want people to own and buy things that they love and are going to love and not be let down by. I want us to change the relationship that we have between ourselves and this trained instinct that we have to buy big when things are on sale, and instead start to consider how much you really want or even like something before you buy it. Let's get a little Marie Kondo on things, embrace the things that spark joy in our clothing, because ultimately, when you love something that you're wearing and you have a connection to it, you've saved for it, you've researched it, you've thought about it, you've waited days and weeks and even months for shipping for it to be drop-kicked onto your front door, cheers DHL, and now it's yours. It's something to be proud of. And that brings us to today's video, one that was going to come up eventually, a conversation about this channel offering discount. It's something that I've thought about probably too long and too hard about whether I want brands to be involved in my content and in what capacity in the future, and how I'm going to manage myself and the biases that those relationships potentially create, and obviously the perceptions of that bias over time. The main thing that I want to do is add value to people. Whether you watch because you're on the hunt for a specific shoe or boot or jacket, or you're just in a weird rabbit hole on YouTube for one topic or another. I want to provide a clear and detailed perspective that you can hopefully understand and then act on if that's something that you're wanting to act on. Ultimately, it's not about not having a bias. It's about being open about where a bias comes from and why. I want to be upfront with everyone and say that money, to me, is just not really a motivator. Yes, it makes the world go round, and of course, I am working towards monetizing this channel, and of course, it'd be nice to have an income from fashion and from menswear, but you can't buy me or my opinion. The way I can be bought if someone was wanting to buy me is by having a fantastic product, service, and quality that lasts a really, really long time. having this kind of standard is a way that hopefully you, the viewer, can trust my perspective because it will always be holistically my perspective. Yes, in some cases, hopefully I will make money off the sponsorships and collaborations that I will do with these brands in the future. But those brands will never be brands that I don't personally believe in or use. I'd expect that if there's anything of that kind of sort, a brand collaboration, that the brand would be a brand that we've covered in some capacity across either my YouTube, Instagram, or website, because it's probably a brand that I'm already engaged with. Again, I want to work with brands that align with this channel's ethos and the goals. There's no value to you, there's no value to me. You are ultimately my viewers, so hopefully we can continue to add value for you. So with Black Friday well and truly on the horizon, I wanted to share with you, my viewers, some value. Saying it that way maybe does make it feel a bit spin doctory, but that's really just the way that I wrote it, so it's not some grand plan, I assure you. I was asked and I accepted an offer from a brand out of England, and in my opinion, one of the best ready-to-wear outerwear brands in the world. I've mentioned them a few times, so no award for the guess of Private White VC, offered for me to be an affiliate over the Black Friday sale. I of course hope that this opportunity is more than a one-time offer and something that I can continue to grow as the channel grows and as these kinds of things become the norm. I really do want to collaborate and work with these brands because they do offer fantastic products. So the offer itself is you use the code SAMUEL, S-A-M-U-E-L, 10 at checkout for an extra 10% off the typically already steeply discounted items on the infamous Private White Black Friday edit sale. It's this sale that I actually purchased my very first piece from Private White, and it's how I would recommend all of you get into this level and quality of clothing, because Private White really do offer it a few tiers above everyone else. Of that 10% that everyone gets that's extra to the discount already on offer, I get 5% of that back as a sales commission. It's really nice and all, but it's honestly not what I'm doing it for. As we've been building towards and discussing, there are very few ways and times to acquire a discounted quality piece of clothing like Private White. And even if you're saving up to afford it at full price, it's quite nice when you get a little sneaky discount to come through and help it become more affordable for you. And I think that when that opportunity arises, it should be taken if you're in the right mindset. Not in a way that it becomes an impulse purchase to buy something that's there because it's on sale and just to buy it because you want to own it, but to buy something that's going to work for you and fit you and your wardrobe and lifestyle for many, many years to come. So why Private White VC? Why should you save up? Because even on a discount, you're still probably going to be spending upwards of a few $100s to get anything from their range. Once again, this isn't an impulse purchase, but there are some very good reasons why you should spend that money on Private White VC. As my channel is really only new and I've not talked about Private White here, though I have done so on the website, jesssays.com, I thought I should provide a bit of context as to who Private White are and why they deserve your hard-earned money. As I said earlier, they are, in my opinion, the highest quality maker of ready-to-wear menswear outerwear in the world, and I actually know plenty of people who agree with that. They make their clothing in Manchester and have done so since 1853, and have made clothing for kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers, rock stars, musicians, sporting icons, Hollywood icons, the lot. If you need more evidence of their pedigree, in 1916 they supplied the Allied forces with cotton trench coats, and in 1940s, for the Second World War, they were commissioned by the UK's Ministry of Defence to supply the Royal Air Force with their waterproof parkas. It's pretty incredible, to be honest with you. It hits some of the same kind of historically interesting notes that a brand like Crockett & Jones or Edward Green does. It's quite romantic in an odd way, but it is really cool to see a brand survive and thrive and still be making and be recognized for making some of the most high quality outerwear in the world. To be fair, they don't just do outerwear, they do a huge range of things from sweatpants to t-shirts to suede jackets. I really want one of those suede jackets, to wool scarves, but I've yet to try them all, so I can really only provide a perspective on what I have tried, and I imagine that that sort of quality that I've experienced would hopefully carry across all of their items. Speaking to my personal experience, I now own 3 pieces of outerwear from Private White. These are my epic greatcoat, my well-worn belted safari jacket, and my new baby, which is this one here, the insulated gilet. The coat and the jacket I've owned since early 2020, but the gilet only came in July this year. The video that I was writing this week was actually going to be a follow-up from last week's video on the Informale WS50 work shirt, and it was going to be about my belted safari jacket, as being one of the other jackets that I'm really loving wearing and I've worn a lot over the last 12 months. So you can expect a much more detailed review of this garment probably in the next week or so. A TLDR is that it's super comfortable, it's aging beautifully, and it's getting quite a lot of wear and therefore quite a lot of washing in the washing machine, and it still looks perfect to me. What really stands out to me across all those three garments is the insane level of detail across them all. And they make a lot of expensive choices to ensure that the quality is insanely high. For example, like Informale, Private White use Riri zips on all their products. Even this little one here, which are the best zips you can get. And it's not like they're stingy with them. They use them everywhere to close up pockets and keeps things secure. I mean, this is a completely unnecessary zip, and I'm sure it's a massive extra cost with the pocket and everything else, but they include it, and it is fantastic and super high quality. They also use bespoke buttons and snaps. So these little snaps, very, very cute. They've got a little detail on them. And they're actually military grade, so they're definitely gonna last forever. And they're used everywhere on this garment, and they feel insanely good quality, and they even match the color of the Riri zips. It's the Private White copper color, and I quite like it. It's very cool, it's very unique. It's easily identifiable as something from Private White. Even the little things, the little details, like on this gilet, there's pattern matching, which is just insane. It basically means where the lines in the gilet actually go up the whole way and they don't sort of stop where the different panels are connected. It takes a lot of time and effort to achieve that outcome. Or another example is the seams on my safari jacket have French binding on them all to ensure that they last forever and they never fray or come apart. One thing to the next, these garments just scream quality construction. And then there's the fabric choices. All three garments have beautiful fabrics, soft but heavy, and really well suited for the garments that they're made into. For example, the insulated gilet is actually insulated with 100% merino wool wadding, which makes it super lightweight, but also quite breathable compared to goose down. It does a fantastic job of keeping me warm, but not too warm, which is exactly what I wanted from a vest. No doubt all three garments will have more detailed reviews on the YouTube channel in the future, so keep an eye out for that, and hopefully I can share a lot more information with you about why I love these garments so much. And there you have it, a bit of a different video from the weekly reviews, but I thought it was an important video to make, especially with Christmas and Black Fridays and all the sales coming so quickly. I never want this channel to feel unachievable for the average person, as I'm just an average guy myself. I hope that everyone is sensible with their purchases for the upcoming sales period, and I hope that some of you saved that extra 10% if you decided that something from Private White is something that you were after. And next week, I'm going to show you my first piece that I got from them and share that experience with you. Once again, the code is Samuel10, and I believe it'll be available for use from Friday till Monday. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Links are in the description as always, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Cheers.